Dimitri's playing dirty to get Leo back. What's up, my Days of Our Lives peeps? I hope everybody's having an awesome day, even though it's a Monday. But even Mondays can be really good. And a beautiful way to start my Monday was to watch Days of Our Lives with the repeat of Dimitri pulling Leo into a kiss. Um, reminiscing of their, maybe I said that wrong, maybe. I don't know, of their first kiss, the very first kiss, when Leo had broke into Dimitri's room and found that Dimitri was lying and that he was just trying to marry Gwen to get his inheritance. And Leo's just going on, and Dimitri didn't know what to do, so he just pulled Leo into a kiss. And then next thing you know, they were passionately hugging. Unfortunately, that didn't happen today. Time. It takes time. But anyways, Leo's just talking about how he just fell in love with Javi, and Javi just, changed him for the better and just listing off his crimes and stuff. And Dimitri's like, "You're perfect just the way you are." And he brought up how Leo saved him from the room after he got shot by Vivian. Leo came in with the mask and the scrubs and helped them, and they went on the run and stuff. And he's like, "Would you do that for Javi?" And Leo's like, "I wouldn't have to do that for Javi. He's not a criminal." It's like, yeah. I was waiting for him to say yeah, but then, he twisted him on there. So, and Leo's just, you just see that he was just fighting his urges to not jump all over Dimitri. And I'm like, if I was Dimitri's type, yeah, I would be all over him too. But I'm not his type. But anyways, he kept saying that Dimitri was so symmetrical. Later, he explained it to Leo. Leo explained it to Leo. Leo explained it to Xander. How it's just like, everything on him, on his face, just like matches. It's like his face is so perfection, whatever. And Leo, my phone went to sleep. What Leo said to he said, "Oh, why is your face so perfect?" And I was like, "Because he's beautiful." Oh lordy, and Leo, he just had a rush out. And then later, Dimitri was in a square and he saw Javi sitting there drinking some coffee, and he's like, "I don't know if you remember me." And I'm like, yeah, I think he remembers. His husband used to mess around with you." And Dimitri was just like, "Leo came to see me today." And Javi's like, "I know, I told him to go see you." And he's like, "Oh, do you want to know what happened?" And Javi, he acted like he was like gonna say no, but the curiosity in him was like, "Sure." And that's when he said that he kissed Leo and Leo kissed him back passionately. And he's like, couldn't get enough of me and whatever. And Javi's just looking like, he just wanted to throw his hot coffee on Xander, but he had already drunk it all. It's hilarious. I'm like, Dimitri playing dirty. He wants his little Leo back. I'm like, I'm all here for it. Yeah, sorry, Javi. But I do, I just like, I really love Dimitri and Leo, but I do feel bad for Javi. He seems like a really sweet kid. Um, but he's not Dimitri. But I did see the preview for this week, and it looks like Leo's trying to get Gwen to help make Dimitri disappear again. And I was like, I think it's just because it's hard to fight the urges of wanting Dimitri, but still wants to be with Javi because he was deceived into thinking that Dimitri didn't want him. And so he moved on, and now he's in a better place. And, I think that's something that resonates with a lot of people. It's like you move on to somebody better, and you just like that person just encourage you to change and be, put yourself in a better place and not always down, and being a criminal or just in a really low place. and so you want to keep that positivity. And some people can't resist it and go back to those old ways, and that just leads down a bad path. And Leo doesn't want to do that, so I commend him for doing that. But I have to admit, I do miss the scheming Leo. I mean, he has his moments still, but it's not like dirty scheming stuff like he did with Dimitri or with Will and Sunny and stuff. But I don't know. We shall see. But I have a feeling that Dimitri's gonna go away somewhere. But, I wonder how Dimitri is going to get his revenge on Gwen, you know. And I was thinking, he said that he doesn't have to stay married to Gwen. He could divorce her, keep his money or whatever. But what happens if he's lying that he has to stay married to Gwen for like a certain period, at least a certain period of time or something? But anyways, either way, if he gets the money back, he's still, there was no prenup, I don't recall. So Gwen could still take him to the cleaners, if they do get divorced. But I don't know. They didn't show Gwen and EJ today. Cause I remember at the end of Friday's episode, she called EJ for help. And it's been a few episodes since we've seen AJ, so. But I'm sure he'll pop up one day this week. We shall see. But that's pretty much all happened with them. Javi was at the hospital, talking with Paulina. That's when, that was, Friday when Chanel and, Johnny were there because she was having some pains, whatever. But she didn't miscarry. So Javi did get to see baby Trey. And yeah, I am still kind of I'm still no kind of I'm very disappointed that Javi and Leo didn't get to keep baby T because it's not a really good match with Chanel and Johnny. I think a lot of people might feel that way too. But um so Sarah, she's at the hospital and Maggie ends up calling her, telling her that Xander fired Brady. Yeah, Xander was getting on Brady for not turning in some his figures plan or whatever, trying to figure out, the budget for Basic Black. And Brady brings up, it's like, are you mad that I didn't do this, or are you mad because there's something between me and Sarah? And he's like, oh, so there is something between you and Sarah? But it's like, no, what does that matter or whatever? And then Xander's like, I don't think Basic Black, is worth it. You're fired. Basic what? And they all loud and stuff. So Maggie comes in. What's going on in here? Like a mother trying to scold her sons from fighting or whatever. And Brady just walks out, and Maggie talks to Brady, and Brady is actually takes the firing pretty well. Um, but oh no, I didn't right. Yeah, he takes it pretty well, and I was right. I remember saying, was it? I think it was the review that I did on Friday. Was that Brady said that he wasn't sure if he was passionate about what he was doing anymore. And since I remember him saying that not too long after, somewhere between John dying and everything crashing down for the Titan or whatever. So I was right. So I didn't mishear that, but yeah, he's just worried about his team at Base of Black and stuff. But he said that he takes this as a way to move on, and he just tells Maggie that he hopes that everything works out with Titan because that's his grandpa's company, and then of course Base of Black, that was his dad's company. Even though John hasn't worked at Base of Black, and I don't remember how long because it was just Brady, Nicole, and Chloe worked with them too. But I can't remember the last time John was working there. Huh. I don't know, because he was working with Steve with Black Patch or whatever. Speaking of which, gotta talk about Steve in a minute. But Maggie, of course, has to go in and scold Xander on what he did or whatever. And she tells him to just go for a walk or whatever. And so he leaves. And yeah, there's supposed to be a shareholders meeting, but Maggie's like, her and Philip can work on that or whatever. So He leaves and he goes walking and he runs into Leah. They're both outside of Marlena's penthouse. Leo's just like knocking on the door, Dr. Evans, Dr. Evans, and Marlena's not home or she's hiding under the bed. Either one, maybe she's visiting. Sorry, my nose just started itching. Maybe she's visiting Rachel or something. I don't know, or at the hospital or whatever. But yeah, you should call before you just pop up at somebody's place. Oh, whatever. Oh, hold on, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I just felt like this huge sneeze about to come on, and I don't think that you wanted to hear that. So now that that's out of my system, Leah, and Zana's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, came to talk to Marlena. I know she wants to schedule an advance, but this is like an emergency or something like that. And Leo's like, "Why are you here?" And Zana's like, I see Dr. Evans. He's like, "You see Dr. Evans too?" Makes you just, I forgot what he said. Makes you more delicious. That's not what he said. That's totally something that Leo was said, but that's not what he said. So, anyways, realize that Marlena's not there, so they go and have some drinks and talk about, their uh relationship issues. Let's say it like that. Oh lordy. And that's how Leo explained to Zandy about his Dimitri's symmetrical face. So when you look at it, it's like, yeah, the whole bone structure, his cheeks. I definitely see it. I see it. I see it. But Xander talked about how he just walked away from Sarah and Victoria because he thought that they deserve better than him, and Leo thinks that Javi probably deserves better than him, and now I feel like there's another gay guy that needs to pop up just because to make this storyline even a hot mess. Maybe no, well, Javi's ex is a woman, so that wouldn't work out too well. But Leo did ask Xander if he regrets all of it. You know what? I don't think he answered him. I think that was like the end of the scene. Oh yeah, I know I failed. After Dimitri and Leo's my yeah, um I went into s- flashbacks of them being together. That's what happens when you are an incredible a big fangirl or stuff. Lastly, the kissing cousin drama. So Stephanie and actually paid attention to these scenes. No, there was like an episode last week where Stephanie was just like talking about, all this love or whatever she had for Alex in the square, and I didn't hear any of that, but I paid attention today. I guess because Steve was in the scenes, probably. I like Steve, not so much his daughter. But anyway, Stephanie and Alex wanted to get an announcement into the Spectator. I do remember Chad telling them that he could put that in the Spectator. But Steve was against it because that would just anger the stalker or whatever. And Alex ended up agreeing to it, and Stephanie was like, "No, we're gonna put this in the paper and draw this motherfucker out." She she didn't say it like that. I said it. But anyways, Steve had these notifications up for any mention of Stephanie or Anastasia Sands or the book alert. One Stormy Night. I almost forgot. I was totally about to call it something else. Based on a true story. I've been binge watching that on Peacock, and I just finished it today, and now I'm sad because I found out there's no season 3. Like, how are you gonna end the show like that? Anyways, back to Days of Our Lives, and sure enough, he finds like this little chat room with the. I had to write the fan down the screen name. Um, what was it? Oh lordy, did I? Oh, that's it. Sans Fan 69. And I was like, oh my god. And Alice was like, really 69? I was like, I was feeling the same way. So, anyways, so the stalker who, if you don't know now by now, spoiler alert, mute your mute. It's Owen from. Actually, you know what? I talked about this in another video. It's Owen, the guy who stalked Stephanie back in 2009 during that whole Kyriakis Demira feud. Yeah, actually, I watched the scene of Philip rescuing her from Owen. He just like shirtless and just comes flying out the door. It's like, yes, go and save the girl. Anyways, so he was talking about how he wants to kill Alex. And somebody replies, if you kill him, then how are you gonna get the girl? And he's like, oh well, I had to not get caught. I'm like, you're posting this on a public board. I think that somebody would see this eventually. I don't know, you're not using your real name. But um yeah, so that's what makes me wonder. I thought that he was trying to kill Alex when he put whatever was in his drink. Speaking of, that drove me crazy because why are you putting a drink in a paper bag? Not only that, but had a straw already in there. You don't do that. You put the straw in the bag and the cup on the floor. Anyways, why didn't you ring the doorbell? Anyways, maybe Owen was the delivery guy. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, Stephanie wants to post it and she gets all mad talking about, she's tired of tiptoeing around and having her dad go on dates with her and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I understand. You probably want to passionately hug without your daddy in the next room. That's kind of awkward. And unless that's, some families that's hot, but not the Johnson family. But anyway, Steve ends up seeing the pictures that Owen took the last week while they were making out in the square, not paying not one lick of attention to anything that was going on around them. Yeah, because I remember he was just like in a hoodie and like a mask, and he's just like going around with his phone, going like this. I have a plug in. Yeah, he was just going around like this and stuff. I thought he was taking videos. He was just like, I guess maybe screenshots from the video. I wonder what he was. Never mind. I mean, he's 69 is screaming. Might have been doing something else with those pictures. But I would be surprised if he doesn't have like hidden cameras somewhere in Stephanie's room or something. Oh lordy. But I'm sure Steve would have found those by now if he was looking. I don't know. He's a little off his game. But that's all I had to say about this episode. I'm ready for them to find out it's Owen. Just let's get to this into this storyline. But what do you guys think about this episode? What do you think Dimitri might do to continue to try and get Leo back into his heart? Where should have never left in the first place? Let me stop. Anyways, hit the like button. If you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe for more Days of Our Lives videos and me fangirling over couples. Anyways, I love you guys. Bye.